I know India has doubled its medal in the Asian Games over the last 10 years. Recently, Gukesh won the World Championship in chess. Abhishek Sharma hitting 137 balls, or Manu Bhaker winning 2 Olympic medals in 2024. That's a lot happening. Where do you see this going now?
The best thing that has happened for India is the government support in infrastructure.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a lot. Initiatives like Khelo India, Rajiv Gandhi Khelo Abhiyan for rural India. So there's enough that government has done.
Yeah.
They have done their job.
One sport where you wish you were a pro at?
I think golf pays the most. So if I have to wish, I wish for that.
Talking about sports in India, I think we can't live without talking cricket, right? And you have chosen 2 sports which are not cricket.
Every kid may not have the same movement, motion, aptitude to excel in one sport. There are so many kids who are faster, maybe not as stronger. So you choose your sport.
All right. Today we have somebody who I've known for more than 10 years, who I started knowing because I was playing badminton with him. Later on, he transformed his journey into sports while I transformed mine into investing. And we met again, and yet again, we invested in Flow Sports and started doing something together once again. So today we have Amit Mongia with us, a very visionary a person who has built a business in sports. And it's lovely to have you here, Amit, today morning. How are you?
All well, Vinay. Always good to meet you on court and here off court as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So before we dive into intricacies of Flow Sports with you, Amit, tell us, what do you guys really do? And then maybe I'll come to other questions around it.
So Vinay, we are a sports coaching platform. We provide coaching for football and badminton as of now. And our focus is to build sports coaching from the grassroots level to the advanced professional level. Presently, we are present in Delhi NCR across 5 locations.
Awesome. So what really inspired you to start this, Amit? I know you were in a corporate, very senior management role when we used to play together. And then you have shifted yourself completely into something that you've never done earlier. So help us understand why behind Flow Sports.
So there are 2 answers. One is a short answer. I'll start with that. So I think Flow Sports and something related to sports in Gurgaon was much needed because of the paucity of supply.
Yeah.
We had everything here, the best of people, intellect, schools, liquor vents, but nothing around sports. I used to go to Delhi to play, 5 o'clock in the morning and be back to go to office. So there was paucity of supply and good sports infrastructure was not there. So that was the reason we saw an opportunity there, both Sumit and I. But the long answer is that being an army kid, I've been playing sports throughout my life. And I think this was one way of contributing in a very positive way to the country. So we really feel that this is required in the country. And as we talk, we'll talk more about that.
No, absolutely. I remember, I think maybe around 12 years back when we played on a cement court in a society, and we could not get a court which was covered and well managed. Today, my Sunday trips to Flow Sports and of course our team as well, it's a very rejuvenating experience for us. So thank you. And what made you name it as Flow Sports? So help me understand the thought behind the name itself.
So Flow, the name has become more ubiquitous now. Everybody knows about it, but almost 6-7 years back, people didn't know much about it. Flow basically means being in the zone.
Yeah.
Right. This was a book written by an author called Hali, who said that if you stretch yourself just a little bit more, right, you are in the state of flow.
Yeah.
So don't go too far, because then you'll not be able to achieve. Don't keep it low. So keep adding incremental gains, and sports needs that. Right, you can't have a paradigm shift.
Yeah,
and sports is one thing where you are always in the zone.
Yeah.
So we wanted all athletes, all of us, to be in that zone. So that's why state of flow and then flow.
Awesome, that's great. And you mentioned that you focused on badminton and football, and you focused only on coaching.
Yes.
So help me understand why only badminton and football, and why only coaching?
So badminton is where we started our journey. And mainly because we have been playing as a national level player. He represented Haryana in under 14, under 17. and we also met on the court. I had been playing badminton for a very, very long time. So it just came naturally to us because he was in that sport for a long time. The ecosystem was very easy to build. We knew all the coaches, we knew people in the right places. So badminton was very easy.
Yeah.
Football, we met some very good coaches who shared the same vision. We started football almost 2 years after we started badminton. So we knew what we were looking for, and we found some coaches who we partnered with. So that's how these two sports.
Okay.
Now, why coaching? So this has a business answer and more ethical, moral answer. but the business answer is that we feel that in sports, the different things that you can do, you can get into pay and play, you can get into sports infrastructure. We feel that that is more of a commodity business. Infrastructure is a very high capex business, but coaching is where you can build a lot of value add. And it is a very, very disorganized sector. So there is something that, I've read from Warren Buffett. If you can get in a sector, change it and increase the pricing, it's a very good sector to be in. This is something that we saw in coaching, very, very, and we've been seeing also. Because in one of our centers, we do pay and play. The rates have not really gone up, but for coaching, it has really gone up. The second answer is that I think the youth needs it. They do need someone to push them, to engage them, to help them progress, to motivate them to come every day. So I think that is again, something that we must, our own capacity do for the country.
Phenomenal. Thank you. Now coming to the challenges, it's not easy to set up what you have set up. It's very highly operational. What were the challenges that you and Sumit faced, and how did you overcome them?
So one of the biggest challenges initially that we faced was that because of the disorganized way of the market, the coaches were running their own centers, and they had been doing it for a very, very long time. And the kids are quite emotionally connected to the coaches. So even if you bring in the right system, even if you bring in the right infrastructure, it takes a lot of time for people to get convinced that this is the right thing for my child. So being in a sector where some kind of service was being provided for years, we had to come with our own niche and make people realize that this is going to be good for their children. So that was the first 2 years just went in that, apart from the COVID that hit after that. So that was for everyone. But these first 2 to 3 years, those were the biggest challenges. But that has also become the biggest opportunity for us, because once we have made those systems, coaches are joining us, kids are joining us, and the journey has become easier.
Phenomenal. And I have come and played there. We come and play there every Sunday. I also see a lot of kids getting coached, as you said. You have built a wholesome experience for everybody. Parents who bring their kids in, kids who need nutrition. So you have a cafe, you have a few other gym facilities. So help us understand, how does the whole bouquet experience look like for a parent who's bringing his kid for coaching at Flow?
So yes, you're absolutely right. The idea is to provide a holistic experience, number one. And also within the holistic experience, the idea is to give the best to our ability. So right from building the right sports infrastructure, we got wood from the US, which is Badminton World Federation standard wood, the right height, the right luminosity, the infrastructure was in place. Now we have around 21 checkpoint list. For any kid who joins us, there are 21 SOPs. At every stage of their coaching journey, where are we going to put in our input so that they remain engaged, they remain progressive in the sport. Apart from that, there are other things such as you mentioned, we have a nutritionist on board. I myself, after starting the business, did my nutrition course so that I can also help guide the kids a bit. Then we've got an SNC very, very well qualified strength and conditioning coaches, very, very experienced badminton coaches. We've got a physiotherapy place, and we've got a retail. So a kid who can come here, we want to cater to them from their grassroots journey to their advanced professional journey. So, they should only go from here when they are ready to play for India.
Phenomenal. Thank you.
That's the idea.
Now, is it only about kids or also about adults, right? Do adults also come for coaching? And if so, then how is it that they're able to find time to come out of their busy schedules or jobs to be available at Flow?
So yes, we do have an adult coaching program. We are working very hard on it because I'll say our kids coaching program is very strong. But in the next couple of months, I will be able to say about that adult coaching program as well. But we have adults coming both for pay and play. People come as members and play, and some of them also come for coaching. And I really, really feel, Vinay, that motivation is a bit overrated. Discipline is what is needed.
No, absolutely.
Right? I think with your travel, as we were talking, you're also able to, take out 10 hours in a week. It's not motivation, it's that discipline. And I think in sport, you need 6 to 9 months. You need to push yourself, be disciplined for 6 to 9 months. After that, you're not going to miss it. Because you are so much in the zone, you are away from all the stress. So you look forward to that 1.5 hours.
Absolutely. My body tells me if I've not gone for a sport or a play, etc., it's like I'm dying to get back on the court, right? Even if you're traveling.
Yeah, just to add to that, when our group, that I play badminton with, we play 3 or 4 days a week. We have been playing together for the last 12 years. So, it's not like a gym. Such longevity we don't see in gyms. But in a sport, because you look forward to, it's also a very social thing, in game, post game. So I think if people can give themselves 6 to 9 months to any sport, forget about badminton, there is a lot of sports infrastructure coming, there will be hope for life.
No, absolutely. And I think what you said is very right. It's social as well. And to me, it's also a lot about the right way to be fit and healthy.
Yes.
Gym can be really, really boring. And as you said, therefore longevity doesn't come in. So I think if you want to add something there as well, how it can help you be fit as well, not just social, not just enjoyable, but fit as well.
So, if you play 1 hour badminton, I'll talk about badminton, it could be in the ballpark for other sports as well. So in 1 hour, if you're playing, you are able to burn around 500 to 600 calories. It's very good, right? And you are doing 2 things. Number 1, you are of course doing aerobic exercise.
Cardio.
So you have cardio, as you're saying. Also because there's a lot of movement, so there's also agility, right? There's start and stop movement, acceleration, deceleration. Plus, once you are in the group, others will also nudge you to do warm-ups, right? They'll nudge you to do some cool down. You will want to beat them. So then we'll start talking about strength training. So, it's an overall ecosystem that develops for the body.
This is phenomenal. Now, as you train kids as well as adults, I think the one important part of the supply is, let's say, coaches.
Yes.
So how do you get good coaches, and how do you make sure that they are coaching with their heart and soul put into the development of the kids?
So that's, I think, the most pertinent question for any sports academy. So there are 3 ways. Firstly, as I said, Sumit was already in the ecosystem. So it was very easy for us to get hold of good coaches initially. So that was the first thing, since we are in the ecosystem. Second is, I think it's a hardcore pursuit that we did in the first 2 to 3 years. There were coaches that we talked to for almost 6 months to 9 months. We chose the people that we wanted because that was the time to build the culture. Because if we have the right people in the starting, then it's easier as we go on. So we pursued a lot of coaches who were not a little unsure, but as time passed, they also saw our vision. And we got the best of coaches of Delhi and Gurgaon with us. Now we're getting plethora of CVs sitting with us. We always have a more supply than we have demand of. And now we can choose who fit in the right culture. So I think building the right culture from the starting has been the most helpful in continuing the culture. So there was never a shift that we had to make.
Big shift.
So that was easy.
As these coaches train young athletes, or even adults, there's always an emotional bond that forms between an athlete and a coach. How does that help? And we have seen that a lot of the athletes say, it's a lot of support system as well with the coaches. So help us talk about that piece of it.
So very good question, because it's a double-edged sword. Yes, there should be a very good emotional connect with the coaches, and that's what helps kid go from one level to the other. But sometimes the emotional support can also become a detriment to the kid, because the coach doesn't want to leave the kid, right? And the kid, because they are so emotionally involved with the coach, that they don't want to leave it, even if we feel that it's time for them to move up. They don't, and it's both ways for our coaches also. And it's easy for us to tell them it's time to let go, but they are invested. So it takes time. but we still help the, to tell the parents as well as the kids, it's time to move on, right? Maybe they have reached a certain level, maybe you're traveling too much, maybe go wherever you are and get your coaching done. And similarly, we also tell kids who are not in the academy to come here.
Yeah.
If we really feel that they can get some help here. So we tell other coaches as well as our coaches, let's be very, very fixated towards athlete development. Everything else is periphery.
And as we talk about athlete development and the ecosystem, how does the partnership with, let's say, brands like Adidas or a player or a ecosystem player like Huddle work to help the whole ecosystem?
So I would talk more about Huddle because that has really, really helped us. So players like Huddle, Cultfit, Playo, who are bigger aggregators and in the sports ecosystem. So because we work closely with them, they do understand what we are bringing to the table. So whenever they are opening more centers, we always get an opportunity through them because they also want good partners to partner with so that they don't have a lot of headache in the coaching part. So we get a lot of two things. Number one, more distribution points through them, more venues through them wherever they are opening. And secondly, we talk a lot, Suhail and I talk a lot about the ecosystem and bounce off ideas a lot. Whatever he learns, he's very, very gungo about pickleball presently.
Yeah, he is.
So he's also pushing me towards that. That may be the third sport that we may get into coaching. And it's all Suhail's doing. So, we are also understanding the ecosystem better by bouncing off ideas. So in this sense, such ecosystem players, it helps us a lot.
Got it. Cool. Now I'm going to talk about your big, hairy, audacious goal, which you said 1 million children into athletes by 2035, and even more heartwarming is 4 Olympians by 2032. How optimistic are you, and how are you going to achieve this?
So I'll talk about the first point first. 1 million kids. I think that is the need of the hour, right? We are not the 1980, 1990 era India, where Indians were more becharas and we were fighting for survival, and now we've got everything. Right? So parents need not really worry about that. Padhai nahi karega to kya hoga? Right? Ho jayega. There is enough opportunity in this country that you need to make your kid an overall developed, individual. Overall developed individual. So padhai ho rahi hai, sad mein khilao. And that's what we want to tell everyone. It's very, very important as a kid. If they start playing, they'll become athlete for life. We have been for the last 1 year since IPV has invested in us. We have been working on the product a lot. We have reached a certain stage, then now we can go for distribution. We were counting, we've got around 150 venues for badminton and football in NCR. In NCR alone. Just imagine the kind of supply that is today available. Just that the people need to be aware, and once they come in, they see that something has been happening professionally.
Totally agree.
So I think the product is ready, the supply is ready. We just need to tell people, and we want to show them the proof of concept. Once we start doing that, we start with Delhi NCR, go to other metros. I think it's just a matter of time we hit the 1 million number. So that is the first bit that you asked. The second bit, yes, and I will say we will make 4 Olympians. But I will also pass on the responsibility to others. That yes, we will do at the grassroots level. We'll get them to a certain level. If we are able to, we'll keep them here, make them Olympians from here. But if not, we'll guide them to the Gopi Chands and Padukons of the world. We'll tell them, we have got them to this level. Now you take them to the next level. And then also we'll have a part in that creation.
Totally.
So that's how we're looking at it.
It takes a village to raise a kid. So no doubt. I think collaboration is the key.
Yes.
Any success stories so far that you have seen?
So yes, Vinay, and so I always say that if there is one kid in an academy who's doing well, it's on the kid. But if there are multiple kids, it's the kid, it's the coaches, and it's the system overall. So we have around 30 plus kids who are in the top 30 in their respective categories in India, from under 13 to under 15 to senior levels. So we have seen a lot of success stories. The recent one is that one of our athletes won the bronze in National Games in Dehradun in January 2025. So we have a lot of success stories, but the idea is to have plethora of them.
Agree. And I think even what you said earlier, right, that a person who is studying should also play.
Yes.
For me, it was ulta. I was playing actually, and then was a little bit studying. But when it came to the time of study, those crucial years, I think the body really helped you study far better, and therefore my sports regimen kind of continued. So yeah, healthy mind and healthy body, I totally get it, and I think that's an urge to everybody else to play sports. It will help you stay active in whatever life you do till 50, 60 that you live, right, professionally. All right. What other systems do you think are in place for athletes aiming to compete at national or international levels?
So, as I was saying, we have a 21-point checklist. So we have regular checks from body composition analysis every 3 months, where we see the muscle mass, the fat percentage. Is it going up? Is it as per what a badminton kid needs? We have assessments in strength and conditioning, from absolute strength to power to agility tests that we keep on doing. Then we have check-ins for nutrition. We have quarterly parent-coach interaction, because all three, it's a triangle.
Yeah.
The coach, the athlete, and the parent.
Yeah.
So we have this management team also sits there in those interactions, where we decide that, okay, what do we need to do for the next 3 months? It's very easy to say that, okay, this kid will become a champion after 2 years. What are we going to do in the next 3 months? Absolutely. And what is the review in the next 3 months? So these small checks that we keep doing, that helps us very much and helps the athlete realize their goal.
So you talked about this triangle of the coach, the athlete, and the facility or the infrastructure,
and the parent,
and the parent, right? How about the fourth element of technology? How can technology, or how are you using technology to help the coach become a better coach, athlete become a better athlete, and therefore add better infrastructure for the overall development?
So the way we are working towards technology is, we don't want to increase the job of the coach. So we don't want to say, now you do this, we have got technology. We want to give them outputs which are very, very sharp. Said, okay, we saw the match, and these are the 3 things that the kid needs to work on. So they are given 1 or 2 triggers. So everything is being input either through visual analytics or through some input that the operations team is doing. So the coach, they finally get the output. Okay, what do I need to do for this kid? And so is this for the kid. So we're just sending them triggers that, okay, your body mass has dropped. What are we doing? What do you need? So rather than giving them, overloading them with information, the way we are trying to build it is that we can give them very clear trigger points that what should we be doing in the next 3 to 4 months, and then reviewing that. That is the only thing we want you to use technology for.
And I think, as you said earlier, that this is the need of the hour. A lot is happening. I know India has doubled its medals in the Asian Games over the last 10 years. Recently, Gukesh won the World Championship in chess. And I think I saw a few other names like Abhishek Sharma hitting 137 balls, or Manu Bhaker winning 2 Olympic medals in 2024. That's a lot happening. Where do you see this going now? Where do you see are the major changes going to come in the next 5-10 years? And where do you see India being?
So I think the best thing that has happened for India lately is the government support in infrastructure. I think they're doing a lot, from centers of excellence to having initiatives like Khelo India, Rajiv Gandhi Khelo Abhiyan for rural India. So there's enough that government has done. They have done their job at the central level. I think 2 things are needed. Number 1 is, which I talked about earlier also, that all of us as parents, as elder siblings, we need to get sports in.
Absolutely.
We need to get sports in. The base has to be ready. We should have 10 crore kids playing one sport or the other. Because as soon as the base is ready, and as long as the kids are enjoying the sport, the population is such that we will get medals. There is no doubt about it. And the other part is, I think we are a little too harsh on all celebrities, not just sports people, whether they are people in Bollywood or even now startup entrepreneurs, even sports people, that if they're doing well, it's great. But if they're not, then we are very harsh. Don't do that.
We write them off.
Don't do that. It's okay. It's just a game. Be cool. If I think we do that, then nothing can stop us. Because as you're saying, we're Kokesh is the latest example. We've been doing wonderfully well in chess. In the startup ecosystem, I think India is doing phenomenally well. In terms of stock market also, barring the last 1 month, I think, it's doing phenomenally well.
Yeah.
So I think India in sports also, there's a lot of scope, but we Indians need to be a little more cool about it.
Got it. Talking about sports in India, I think we can't live without talking cricket, right? And you have chosen 2 sports which are not cricket, right? Help us understand, why not cricket, and why is awareness of other sports also important in the country?
So firstly, why not cricket? Because it's a very, very busy space. The disorganized, so the local coaching academies are there dime a dozen everywhere.
Correct.
Forever. So that's why not cricket. Don't be in a very, very competitive space. And why other sports than cricket? Because every kid may not have the same movement, motion, aptitude to excel in one sport. There are so many kids who are faster, maybe not as stronger. So you choose your sport, and you go to that sport. How can we, ask them to go to one sport only? So it is the need of the hour to go to athletics, maybe badminton, table tennis, whatever. Now pickleball and paddle as well. But see what are you good at. One thing I'll add. So there is this very interesting model known as long-term athlete development model developed by the European Union countries, in which they say from 8 to 10 years, it's general physical preparedness for kids. In that, they insist that you have to play multiple sports. So because then where will you
get exposure to multiple sports.
And what are you good at? What calls out to you? So it is about time we grow beyond cricket in India.
Totally get it. You talked about your growing up years in the army and therefore exposure to multiple sports. And you talked about sports being important in everybody's life. Any personal story that you want to talk about where a certain sport or being in sports helped you in your life or otherwise?
So yes, very much. Always been an army kid, very, very active. Then joined a job after MBA, etc. And at that time, you want to prove your mettle. So you feel that work is everything and health is nothing. So at that time, between 24 to 28, I think I gained some 20-25 kgs.
Wow.
I can't
imagine that.
So I became 105 kgs. And I think that's when I realized that that's not what I've been doing my entire life. And then it was difficult to cut down on food, but easier to go back to your childhood love, which was sports. So I started swimming. And then I started running. Then we started playing badminton. And then in every sense of the word, I became fitter. Not just in the physical aspect of it, but also the mental aspect of it. Even when I was working, I was more in the zone. So whether people have had that story of going to an extreme, I think playing a sport is very important to be balanced mentally and physically.
Well, that's a I think inspirational, transformative story, Amit. Thank you for that. Let's get to the entrepreneurial side, right? When did you decide to switch from a corporate life to entrepreneurship? What made it happen? And what will be your advice to other corporate citizens out there to shift to entrepreneurship? And I being one of them as well, right? So any of those pieces?
So I think I've been wanting to do something on my own for a very, very long time. Very early in the career, I decided that I'm built for that. But I was not very sure what. And when this thing stuck to the mind, that, I could do something with sports and especially something with kids. Because this is something which is very good semblance for me, which holds very good semblance for me. Kids, sport, and doing something on my own. So I think when these 3 ticks happened, that's when I decided that, it is time to jump. And to other people, it has not been a very easy ride. First 2 to 3 years, I was very naive. So I don't know what advice can I give them. If I say that be very careful, that I was not very careful. So I can't give that advice. If I say, just jump into it, it is not a very sane advice. So I'm not very sure what. I'll say, listen to your heart, make some plans and go ahead.
Awesome. Sure. Any one entrepreneur who has been a huge inspiration for you?
A very different kind of entrepreneur, if I can use his name, is very, very inspirational. is the founding member of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew.
Yeah.
Right. So this guy and how they shaped Singapore when they were estranged from Malaysia
Yes.
to what it is now, and how they held on to their principles. At the same time, the best thing about that guy was that he never lost his cool. And he always kept pushing, because there's such a tiny nation surrounded by others, but they just went and they just got going. Whenever they knew they had to take a backseat, they took that. When they knew they were being bullied, they were okay with it. So they knew, when and how to pace their development. So that one person, and being very, very humble yet outright. So a very, very high integrity. So these things really, really appealed to me. And if I can add one more name, So there's this another guy called Charles Munger. He, partner of Warren Buffett. So I think the way he talks about mental models, and he talks about the psychology of human misjudgment, just by doing our regular things, what errors are we making and how can that take to failure. I think there's immense learning from these two people. And if you can become 1% of their combo, I think you can.
Let me then ask for the third one, right? Any sports person that has inspired you or is a role model?
So very, very cliche answer, but I will say MS Dhoni.
Okay.
And I'll tell you my reasons why. I think he was not very, very talented from not like Sachin Tendulkar or not like Rafael Nadal. He was not like that. So he took his time to come to the center stage. But whatever opportunity came his way, he grabbed it with both hands. Yeah. So it was not that I'm just 25, 26 years old, I'm the captain of the team, how can I handle it? Okay, it has come my way, let me give the best 100%. I can. And he was, again, always in the zone. Always in the zone. That's what we keep hearing about him. So I think he is one, again, he's built talent. Yeah. It's not that he was...
He's not born. He's not born with that. He's trained.
Yeah, so very, very inspiring person.
No, truly, truly. All right, let's come back to Flow Sports, one last question, and then we'll get to the rapid fire. Where do you see Flow Sports in the next 5 years?
So, as I was saying, that we've built the product. The time has now come for us to go into distribution. So we want to, so we're getting a lot of interest from sports infrastructure players and other players in the ecosystem to come and build, start their coaching business. So people are very good in pay and play. We want to have more distribution points. We are looking at different models, tying up, raising funds, as well as looking at a franchising model. So for the next 5 years, keep on developing your product, keep on working on consumer awareness, and have at least 100-150 venues across India.
Phenomenal. That will be a great success. All right, then let's get to the rapid fire ones. Morning person or a night owl?
Very, very morning.
Morning, awesome. Sports person. Favorite sport?
Badminton.
One sport where you wish you were a pro at?
I think golf pays the most. So if I have to wish, I'll wish for that.
If you were to train with any athlete for a day, who would that be?
Dhoni.
If not sports, what industry would you have started business in?
Maybe yours, investments.
Investments, all right. What's your guilty pleasure snack after a long day?
Katsu curry. Japanese katsu curry.
All right, I learned that from you separately. Would you rather win an Olympic gold medal or own an IPL team?
Any Olympic medal, because you have reached somewhere. IPL team, the problem has only started.
All right. Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo, determination, resilience. Again, not innate talent, but built.
Built talent. Awesome. Describe Flow Sports in one word.
Impactful. Long-term impactful for shareholders, for the kids, and for the nation.
Awesome. And if the God was to give you one superpower, what would you wish for?
Be the most balanced, successful person you can be. Good for the kids, good for the family, good for business, good for health.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate you being here. Learned a ton.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
And I will request you to sign Beyond the Pitch message as well. This goes on that board.
Yes.
As you see, other founders have
I'll do that.
done as well.
I'll do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Amit.
Thank you.